Good evening. Good evening. Welcome, everyone. Monday, January 9th, 2023, to the Township Council Workshop. The meeting is now called to order. Councilman Murphy, please lead us in the flag salute.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Mrs. Kraus, please read the statement of public notice.
Take notice that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in accordance with NJSA 10:4-8 and NJSA 10:4-10 as follows. Notice of the meeting was prominently posted on the bulletin board at the municipal building located at 225 Main Street, Little Falls, New Jersey on December 27, 2022. Copy of the notice was mailed to the North Jersey Herald and News and the Record on the same date. Additionally, a copy of the notice was filed in the office of the Township Clerk on said date. A link and a telephone number to join the meeting virtually can be accessed on the Township website at www.lfnj.com. Electronic provisions have been established for the public to participate during the public comment portion of the meeting.
Thank you. At this time, please call the roll.
Councilmember Patel.
Present.
Councilmember Murphy.
Present.
Councilmember Hablitz.
Present.
Councilmember Vanchery.
Present.
Council President Scoba.
Present. Mayor.
Thank you, Council President. This evening, we have two proclamations. The first recognizing Cervical Cancer Awareness Month and the second recognizing Holocaust Remembrance Day. We'll start this evening with the proclamation recognizing Cervical Cancer Awareness Month. And it reads, whereas cervical cancer is a disease that affects over 13,000 American women each year, often in the prime of their lives. And whereas regular cervical cancer screening tests are effective in detecting the disease early when it can be effectively treated, as there are formidable means of preventing cervical cancer. And whereas cervical cancer disproportionately impacts vulnerable communities lacking access to healthcare and proven life-saving tools. And whereas increasing awareness regarding the best use of preventable tools is a key component in safeguarding women's health. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Mayor James Belford Damiano, on behalf of the Little Falls Township Council, do hereby proclaim January 2023 as Cervical Cancer Awareness Month in the Township of Little Falls. And the second proclamation this evening is a proclamation recognizing Holocaust Remembrance Day. And it reads, whereas International Holocaust Remembrance Day is held on January 27th of each year, and it is a day for the world to pause and remember the millions of people whose lives were taken or forever changed by the Holocaust. And whereas in 2005, the United Nations adopted a resolution rejecting any denial of the Holocaust as a historical event, either in full or in part, and condemning without reserve all manifestations of religious intolerance, incitement, harassment, or violence against persons or communities based on ethnic origin or religious belief. Whenever they occur, the resolution also designated January 27th, the anniversary of the liberation of the Auschwitz death camp, as an annual international day of commemoration in memory of the victims of the Holocaust. And whereas on this day, member states of the United Nations are encouraged to develop educational programs to instill the memory of the tragedy in future generations and in order to help prevent future acts of genocide. And whereas today, we join all those whose lives were affected by the Holocaust. We remember their strength, courage, and bravery, and will continuously work to make sure their stories are remembered. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Mayor James Belford Damiano, on behalf of the Township Council, do hereby proclaim January 27th, 2023 as International Holocaust Remembrance Day in the Township of Little Falls.
Thank you, Mayor. At this time, can I have a motion to open to the meeting to the public for general matters and agenda items?
So moved.
Moved by Councilwoman Hablitz, second by Councilman Vanchery. This is a voice vote. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please do so by saying nay. The motion carries. Mrs. Kraus, please read the public comment.
Anyone wishing to address the Township Council may do so through the Council President. It is preferred if you give your name and address for the record. Comments are to be limited to 3 minutes. However, if appropriate, you may be granted additional time in the sole discretion of the Council President. Members of the public who have joined the meeting virtually and desire to provide comment shall raise their virtual hand in the Zoom application. The meeting moderator will cue the members of the public that wish to provide comment, and the Council President will recognize them in order. Members of the public who have joined the meeting by calling us in must press *6 to mute and unmute themselves and *9 to raise their hand. Members of the public who have joined the meeting via the Zoom application must click the reactions icon and then the raise hand icon. Once the process is complete, we will return to the regular order of business.
Thank you, Mrs. Kraus. The floor is now open. Seeing no one in the council chambers, Mr. Kusia, is there anyone in our chat that would like to speak? Seeing that there's no one that wants to come before this governing body, can I have a motion to close the public comment?
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Murphy,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Havelitz. This is a voice vote. All those in favor of closing the public comment, do so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, do so by saying nay. The motion carries. Mayor Damiano.
Thank you, Council President. I only have a couple of items to be addressed this evening. First of which is a resolution approving the extension of the 2023 first quarter tax grace period. And this year, the first quarter tax grace period, which typically extends 10 days into each tax period, ends on Friday, February 10th. And because our offices close early on Fridays, we are going to extend the tax quarter to Monday, February 13th at 3 p.m., the close of the tax office on that date, to ensure that all taxpayers can get their tax quarter payments to the township timely without having issue in making their payments. There's a courtesy being extended to the taxpayers of Little Falls here. It is something that, again, we do to ensure that there are no issues with taxpayers making their payments here to the township. So it is something that is being extended as a courtesy to taxpayers. Again, while it is being extended beyond the 10th of the month to the 13th, we encourage all taxpayers to make sure that their tax payments are here well in advance of the 13th of the month, in advance of the 10th as well, with the typical end of the quarter tax payments. Any questions from the council with respect to item number one?
Item number two, Mayor.
Item number two is a resolution sponsoring Enterprise Fire Company number 2 for insurance coverage through the Suburban Metro Joint Insurance Fund. As part of our ordinance that was adopted last year with the fire department, one of the things that we allowed each one of our fire companies to do was to opt into the township's joint insurance fund, the JIF, and it allows each one of them to opt into coverage that is provided through the municipality. It is because it comes at a very nominal cost to the entire municipality to cover each one of our fire companies who, as we know, are volunteers to the municipality who work hard responding to fires for each one of us here in town. And each one of the fire companies is responsible for the roof that they provide over their heads in maintaining their building. We are now doing this for Company 3. Company 2 is now opting in this year. Of course, Company 1 and Company 4 can choose to opt in the future if they choose to, when their terms with their current providers expire, if they wish. It is not required, but it is something that we have extended as a courtesy to the companies if they wish to do this. Company 2 has opted in, and we are asking that this council pass a resolution this evening sponsoring Enterprise Fire Company number 2 to opt into our joint insurance fund.
Are there any questions on 2? Mayor, resolution C.
All right. Item number 3 this evening is a resolution authorizing the purchase of rock salt under the Somerset County Co-op. This is something that we will see regularly and throughout the year and annually, for that matter, when we are opting into co-ops. In order to receive things like salt and other various products that we receive at reduced rates or at co-op rates, we need to opt into them annually. Salt is something that is coming at the most competitive rate this year for us through the Somerset County Co-op. So we're asking that the council this year pass a resolution authorizing the purchase of rock salt through the Somerset County Co-op so that we can purchase our salt through them and have it delivered so that we can ensure that our roads are salted this year throughout the municipality at the best rate possible through this particular co-op. Again, we do this through various county co-ops for various products throughout the year. So we may see additional co-ops come up throughout the entire year for various products and various purchases that the municipality may be making. Are there any questions on item number 3 from the council?
Mayor, you have an agreement with the county that we store rock salt for the county, do we not? Or they pick up rock salt and do our roads?
That is correct, Council President. So what we do, so one of the issues that we've run into in the past, Council President, is that while one of the closest areas that the county can fill up their trucks without this agreement that we've reached with them in the past is actually in Wayne. It's one of the places that they go to fill up their salt trucks if we not had this agreement with them. And what that requires them to do is when they run out of salt in their salt spreading trucks, is they have to drive all the way to Wayne. And again, this is the same trucks that are also plowing our roads here in Little Falls. So when they run out of salt, what they need to do is they need to drive all the way to Wayne to fill up their truck with salt, to drive all the way back to Little Falls to begin their plowing and salting operations again. What we've done is we've reached an agreement with them, and what they do now is when they run out of salt, they simply go down to our DPW yard. We fill them up with salt here, and they continue plowing the county roads and salting the county roads right here in Little Falls. If we know a big storm is coming and they anticipate using 3 loads or 4 loads, we actually do it by tons, but depending if it's 4 loads for argument's sake right now, what they'll do is in anticipation of that storm, they'll bring 4 loads of salt. Or if they didn't prepare enough and they didn't bring the salt here in advance and they use 4 loads of salt during that storm, following the storm, they'll bring us 4 loads of salt after. So they bring us the amount of salt that they use for each storm, either in advance or following the storm, and they square up with us each and every time. But instead of leaving the town and driving, again, during a storm, when they're moving extra slow, sometimes taking 30 or 45 minutes to get out of town and make it all the way back here, they are literally able to stay in town and continue their plowing and salting operations without missing a beat with this deal in contract that we've signed with them here in town to keep our county roads clear. And we know that, unfortunately, most of the issues that we have are on our county roads here in town. The reason being Long Hill Road, Francisco Ave, they just happen to be the worst topography for us here in town, and they're the roads that require the most attention. So losing those trucks during these storms it's critical for us. So keeping them in town, keeping them salting, keeping them plowing is something that we need to do. So striking this deal with the county has been an absolute benefit for us. We've seen the benefits of it during this last year or two when we've been able to do this with them. So keeping this deal moving forward is something that I think will absolutely benefit the residents of Little Falls.
Thank you, Mayor. Are there any questions regarding the resolutions A, B, and C?
And Council President, if you don't mind, I have one more thing that I'd like to discuss that was not on the agenda this evening, if I may.
Mayor.
So one of the things that I'd like to address this evening, Council President, is I'm in the process of scheduling a meeting with the municipal planner. One of the things that I've noticed, and it's becoming a clear issue, is the density requirements that exist pursuant to our different zoning ordinances throughout the town. The planning board has little guidance based upon different zoning requirements throughout the town about density in particular to residential units. And what I mean by that is there are a number of different zones throughout the town, whether it be industrial zones, business zones, residential zones, it's downtown zones, et cetera, where there are not always density requirements for residential units considered throughout many of those zones. And what I think needs to be done is there needs to be consideration given by this council as a whole, where the council provides some really good guidance for what density should be in each and every one of the zones when there is going to be residential units considered by a developer and what those density requirements should be capped at. And without that, the planning board doesn't have very good guidance. And with that in the future, I believe they will have at least some sort of baseline to have an idea of what this council is looking for as far as density. And Council President, I'm going to ask you to join me in doing that as the council person that sits on the planning board. And I'd like to schedule a meeting with the planner so that we can reevaluate the existing zoning laws and the existing zoning that we have with the density requirements so that we can come to some sort of an idea to provide to the planning and zoning board in the future so that they have some guidance to go by with respect to density in the various zones that we have throughout town.
Does the council have any questions with what the mayor just put forth? Mayor Agadi will serve with you regarding this density issue moving forward. I guess there'd be quite a lot of work ahead of us. There's quite a few different zones that would definitely need to collaborate on. So I'll be willing to do it.
And then we'll present it to the council as a whole at one of the upcoming future meetings for everybody's consideration.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Moving forward, Councilwoman Havelitz.
Thank you, Council President. I just have a few updates for the library. There's some events coming up. The first is going to be the pajama story time on Monday, January 23rd at 7 p.m. There's no registration required and all ages are welcome.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry, continue.
That's okay.
It's okay.
As well as the Little Falls Brownie Troop. And the library is having a presentation from the Seeing Eye Dog of Morristown on Wednesday, January 18th at 6:30 p.m. People can learn how they can enhance their independence, self-confidence with people who are blind, with Seeing Eye Dogs and what the Seeing Eye Dogs do for the blind. Lastly, for adults on Saturday, January 21st from 10 to 2, you can create your own vision board for 2023 and get the motivation for those New Year's resolutions. During the holiday break, we were presented the winners of the Light Up Little Falls Holiday Decorating Contest at the Recreation Center. The winners were given ShopRite gift cards donated by ShopRite, so thank you very much to ShopRite. The winners were, the first place winner was 75 Lincoln Avenue. The second place winner was 116 Francisco Avenue. And third place was 29 Hobson Avenue, our own Evan Van Cherry, the king of blow-ups. The runner-ups were 21 Villa Road and 21 Reiners Road. So on behalf of Tyler Passaro, the rec department, myself, and former Councilwoman Sieber, we'd like to thank you for participating, and we are looking forward to next year being even bigger and better. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Havertz. We're going to backtrack. Have a motion to approve resolutions A through C. Moved by Councilmember Vanchery.
Second.
Second by Councilman Murphy. This is a roll call. Mrs. Kraus, please call the roll from resolutions A through C.
Councilmember Patel,
Yes.
Councilmember Murphy,
Yes.
Councilmember Havlet.
Yes.
Councilmember Vanchery,
Yes.
Council President Scoba.
Yes. Councilman Murphy, the floor is yours.
Nothing to report this time. Just like to wish everybody a happy and healthy New Year.
Thank you. Councilman Vanchery.
Thanks, Council President. Councilwoman Sieber, he likes to be preferred as Mr. Inflatable.
Councilwoman Havlet.
So let me start off with, I know today is also National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. So, and this is an opportunity where the citizens take the lead to show their support for the men and women that, you know, do what they do every day, like our Little Falls Police Department. So just want to, you know, recognize all the folks that serve in law enforcement for January 9th. A couple things on my end. This week, I am meeting with the Transportation Committee as we start the new year. We've added a few new members, and what we're going to do this week is just talk about, you know, the plan for this year. We'll set up some dates for meetings that we'll have in the calendar year. And then, you know, Chief Prawl, the one thing that we'll do too is circle back with you, because typically with these meetings, we've had a representative from the police department there. So we'll coordinate the dates once we pull that together, because looking forward to working with you again on that. A couple other things I do want to mention is, you know, kudos to our rec department. This past week, the Little Falls basketball rec program kicked off with games on Friday and Saturday. Good luck to all the boys and girls that are participating. Also want to give credit to the Little Falls cheer comp teams. They also started this past weekend their month-long adventure of competing in tournaments around the state. Each of the different groups did rather well this weekend. So best of luck to them. And we're going to look to bring them in sometime in February to recognize them for all the accomplishments that they're going to have this month. That's it for me. Any other questions you have for me? Just let me know.
Thank you, Councilman Vanchery. Councilwoman Patel, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Council President. So at the last reorganization meeting, we created the Public Health Committee. I've been reaching out to different municipalities to try to get an understanding of what they do in each of their own, so that we're able to get more insight and set the appropriate goals and procedures that the committee needs so it could actually benefit the residents of Little Falls. I'm also happy to say that I've had a lot of residents reach out with questions, information. So it just goes to show that there is a need for this committee, and I'm just excited to get it started and off the ground.
Great. Thank you for that report. Senior Advisory on February the 14th, Valentine's Day. We're going to hold our Valentine's dancing and dessert day from 1 to 3:30. Those council members that can attend, they'll be at the Civic Center. Also music, dessert will be by ShopRite, and by DJ Fabricio will also be playing some good music. And that's from 1 to 3:30. For those that want to go, we don't have a flyer just yet, should be going out this week. You can contact the rec center, myself, or contact the municipal building, Mrs. Kraus. Mayor, the Historical Society reached out and wanted to know if they could get a little collaboration from our grant writers to work on some common grants or to explore some grants. You think that could be a possibility?
I know we work with the Historical Society, and I know we have a common building now and things like that. It may very well be a possibility to, receive a grant that has a common benefit. So absolutely, I think it's something that we can explore. I think it's something that, we may have to find out the availability of the grants and what they would be tailored to. But if they have something in mind, they can certainly reach out and we may be able to secure something.
Thank you, Mayor. See, we're going to go into executive, right? Public comment, right? Have a motion to open the meeting for public and agenda items only.
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Murphy, second by Councilmember Vanchery. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed signify by saying nay. Mrs. Kraus.
Anyone wishing to address the Township Council may do so through the Council President. It is preferred if you give your name and address for the record. Comments are to be limited to 3 minutes. However, if appropriate, you may be granted additional time in the sole discretion of the Council President. Members of the public who have joined the meeting virtually and desire to provide comment shall raise their virtual hand in the Zoom application. The meeting moderator will cue the members of the public that wish to provide comment, and the Council President will recognize them in order. Members of the public who have joined the meeting by calling in must press *6 to mute and unmute themselves and *9 to raise their hand. Members of the public who have joined the meeting via the Zoom application must click the reactions icon and then the raise hand icon. Once the process is complete, we will return to the regular order of business.
Is there anyone in the council chambers that'd like to come before this governing body? Mr. Crucio, is there anyone in the chat room that would like to come before this governing body? It's kind of sweating that out a little bit. Have a motion to close the public comment?
So moved.
Moved by Councilwoman
Second.
Patel, second by Councilwoman Hablitz. This is a roll call. All those that want to close the public comment, please do so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, do so by saying nay. At this time, can I have a motion to go into executive session for discussion of collective bargaining?
So moved.
Moved by
Second.
Councilmember Hablitz, second by Councilman Murphy. All those in favor of going into executive session, please do so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please do so by saying nay. I don't have a time frame of how long we'll be in executive session, but those that would like to stay with us, when we come back, we'll resume the meeting.
Council President, no action will be taken this
Yeah,
evening.
for the minutes, no action will be taken.
Check, you hit the mic.
Are the mics on? Yep. Okay, thank you. Have a motion to return to open session? Moved by Councilman Vanchery, second by Councilwoman Patel. All those in favor, please do so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please do so by saying nay. Motion carries. At this time,
Let me just state that.
what we did, go ahead. The floor is yours.
Council in executive session had discussions concerning collective bargaining. And at the time that actual public action will be needed, those comments will continue in public. But at this point, there's no action to be taken by the council at this time.
Thank you, Councilor. Can I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Murphy, second by Councilwoman Havelitz. All those in favor of adjourning this meeting, do so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, do so by saying nay. This meeting is now closed.